Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Um, if you've seen the title of this video or the thumbnail of this video, which you likely have, that's how you got here, you're probably wondering what is going on, especially if you saw my emotional vlog a couple days ago and saw where I was talking about my self-esteem issues. I definitely have self-esteem issues, and I believe that probably most people do. Um, And one of the ways I have been trying to help with that is I've been trying to take the power out of words, so to speak, um, and not letting certain words affect me. For example, the word fat. Um, it seems like no matter what I'm doing, if I get insulted, fat is always one of the first insults that comes out of people's mouths in regard to me. When I see myself on bad days, I use that word too in a negative connotation. And I'm trying not to. Fat isn't a bad word. Fat isn't a bad thing. It's just a thing that is. And too many people use it as a negative. So I have been trying to just use it as a word. It's a thing that I am. I am fat. I am white. I am a woman. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a human being. And that's all that it is. When I was thinking about making this video, I remembered a conversation that I had where I upset a friend of mine who was complaining about the use of a certain word and the way people were kind of taking away the meaning because they were using it for simple and random things that had nothing to do with what it was, and she found it very triggering. And it ended up with us disagreeing, and I told her that it's just a word, and if you don't let it have power over you, it won't have power over you. Now, of course, there are some words that can't ever be completely saved. The N word and a certain F word that's used particularly against homosexual males. Um, those can't ever be completely saved, but even with those words, you can teach yourself to not be affected by them. I remember, I can't remember which celebrity who was talking about it, but he was talking about Flavor Flav. And during Flavor Flav's roast several years ago on Comedy Central, they kept using the N word towards him. And this other black celebrity had asked him, he said, how can you stand that? Why do you let them use that word against you? And he said, and I'm never going to be able to get the right intonation on this. He said, they've got to pay me, bitch. And that's what it was. He wasn't letting that word affect him negatively. He didn't care that they were using that word because he didn't identify with that word in a bad way. Sure, it's been used as bad, and people use it against him and other black people badly, but you choose to let the word affect you. So, one of the things I've been doing for myself to not let it affect me is that I have stopped letting myself use the word fat negatively in regard to myself or anyone else. Sure, it slips out sometimes, but I immediately, in my head, correct myself and go, no, fat's not a bad word. Fat is not a negative thing. And so often I see people use the word fat against themselves or talk badly about their own bodies. And I do it too. I've seen one of my favorite YouTubers, he does it to himself. And since I've been trying to do this, I almost find it a tiny bit upsetting when I hear him or anybody else talk about themselves negatively, because I do understand it, but I want so badly for them to understand that being fat isn't bad. Nobody really wants to be fat, but some of us are, and I mean, some people enjoy being fat. I know there are plus size people who are healthy and enjoy their bodies, like the model Tess Holiday is what she's going by now, and um there are several other plus size models whose names I honestly cannot remember at the moment. But I think that it is important for anybody who is trying to lose weight or who has self esteem issues to try to understand that even though you want to change your physical appearance, you will never be happy in your body, no matter what size you are, unless you fix yourself up here. And that's what I'm trying to do, because I know no matter how much weight I lose from my bariatric surgery, that if I don't at least get content with myself the way I am now, that it's not going to change, and it's probably going to be worse post surgery, post weight loss. As heavy as I am, like, there's going to be hangy skin and saggy breasts and all sorts of issues like that that may be corrected through just my skin tightening, or I may have to have surgery to correct. But in between the weight loss and the surgery, I'm still going to have to live in that body. And I don't want my body to be a prison. And I encourage everybody else to do the same thing, to try to find ways to boost your own self-esteem. Um, Another thing I like to try to do is I try to focus on the parts of my body that I like. So, like, I'll put makeup on my eyes, or I'll wear a pretty lipstick because I like my lips and I like my eyes, and they're parts of my body that I've never hated. Or, like, I'll bring attention to my hair. Like, right now it's silver, or my favorite color to have my hair is purple. I like my hair, even though the ends are kind of ratty right now because I scorched my hair bleaching it. Um, but I focus on those things, and then I try to find things that I love about the parts of my, or that I at least like about the parts of my body that I don't like so much. So, like, I don't like my arm fat, but I do like how soft my skin is there. Um, I don't like my eczema patches, but I'm working on fixing that. They are so much lighter than they used to be. Um, I don't like my stretch marks, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I've got a lotion that's supposed to help minimize them. It might not. That might be something that I have to live with. But then I think of the fact that my stretch marks, just like my scars, are stories about where I've been in my life and things that have happened to me. And those things aren't necessarily bad things. And I also try to remember something I heard a comedian say. It was Cat Williams, and he was talking about women being upset about the stretch marks on their bodies. And he said that he didn't mind stretch marks because they look like tiger stripes, and that just makes you look more powerful, or something along those lines. And I know a lot of people don't like Cat Williams, but I try to, if I find something that makes me feel good about myself in some way, I will latch onto it. So I heard that from him, and I like that from him. I may not like some of the other things he's done, but I like that. And I will promote that regardless of my opinions on the behavior of anyone else or any of their other behavior. I like that. It helped me. It worked for me. Hopefully it works for somebody else. Hopefully this video will be beneficial to somebody else. And maybe we can learn to understand the power of words and use that power in a way that benefits rather than hurts. So, yes, I am fat, but If that's the best thing you can do when you're trying to insult me, I've heard it. Try again. So that's all I have to say about this. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and follow me on all my social media below. Also, somewhere towards the end of this video, I will have a link to my booktube channel. Um, please check that out. I'm going to do all sorts of book reviews and book hauls, and also have some interesting discussions. So if you think you might like that content, please hop over there and check that out. Um, that being said, please remember to be strong, smile anytime you can, and take care of yourself.